know what I mean? You can put a label on a life, put a label on a lifestyle, you know? Put a label on how you wake up every morning and go to bed at night.
All right, video number 3 on the 3 aspects of technical progression, being a technician in your workouts. You must be a technician. You're never gonna get very far if you're not. And if you just try and keep hammering yourself into the ground without really trying to improve your technique, you're always going to be frustrated. You're always going to get burned out and injured and everything. And whatever success you're going to have will be short-lived and not really all that great to begin with. But technique changes everything. The 3 aspects of technique that we're talking about is 1 is body position, 2 is muscle use. That's a big one. You change how your muscles are used, it will radically change how the exercise feels. I mean, you're going to feel like you don't even know, you're like you never understood what you were doing before. Like, I'm changing my muscle activation patterns a little bit when I'm riding my bike. Great, I've been riding my bike since I was a kid, and now it seems like a totally new experience to me because I'm using my muscles in different ways. Number 3, and this is a little bit more on the progressive calisthenics side of things, but it's also, you know, weightlifting and stuff like that, is weight distribution and or balance. Okay? Now this is one of those things that can affect your position and can affect your muscle use, but it doesn't necessarily have to. So a lot of times what ends up happening is, to a very small degree, you know, especially if you're using a bilateral exercise like a push-up or something, you're going to have a little bit more weight on one hand versus the other. Okay, maybe you have a little bit of a twist, a little bit of a lean, or it may not even be weight distribution on both hands. It's where's your weight on the hand itself. So you could have a full, you know, weight distribution on your hand, and then you push yourself up, and the hand ever so slightly tilts and rotates. This is important because where your weight is, your center of gravity with your body, largely determines where your positions are, what your muscle use is, what muscles are engaged, how easy it is to engage them, all these sorts of things. You know, when you squat, is your weight coming a little bit towards your toes, or is it more on your heels? You know, where's your weight as far as left and right? Where's your weight on your foot? More towards the inside, more towards the outside. You know, all these sorts of things are to be considered. And again, just like both of these things, this can change during the repetition, during the set, in fact, because as I've talked about in the past, technical erosion is the thing that sets you up for injury. It sets you up for a lack of progress, sets you up for everything. And the full point of every strength exercise ever is to fight technical erosion. If you're not fighting technical erosion, well, your training is just simply not very effective. Period. I don't care what your program looks like. I don't care how much weight you're lifting or if you can do 100 push-ups. If your technique is falling apart, your results are going to suffer. End of story. So your weight distribution can very well change during your set. You see this all the time. Back squats. You know, people are squatting like this, and as they start getting tired, they start scooping a little bit. Just a hair. I mean, the thing that we've got to recognize about being technicians is these things can change on such microscopically tiny little levels, but they make such a big difference over time. And your job as a technician is to be aware of these things on increasingly finite points, so that you can do 10 push-ups and a panel of judges could be like, yeah, they looked good, and you could be like, push-ups 3 through 5 were crap, you know, and after that I kind of rated it a little bit, but the 10th one was really great, and they'd be like, I couldn't tell a difference. You should be able to. You damn well should be able to. If you're a good technician, you know how your position changes, your muscle use changes, and your weight and distribution and your balance changes for every single rep of every single exercise you ever do. Once you got that down, congratulations, you're a technician and you are way ahead of the pack. Thoughts down below. Till then, be fit, live free.